Cry of the Beloved Country, Chapter 3. I want to read to you a section starting on page 43, the third paragraph from the top. As we know, Kumalo has decided to go to Johannesburg to try to find out what happened to his sister. In the letter that he read in chapter 2, he got the letter from Reverend Miss Mangu in Johannesburg that his sister was sick. But what type of sickness we have yet to understand. So he's never been to Johannesburg in his life. And we see in this little section here the petty pride of Kumalo coming out. I love Kumalo. He's so human. And I think this passage by Alan Paton captures this beautifully. So starting from the fourth paragraph on the top of 43, follow along with me. Kumalo climbed onto the carriage for non-Europeans, already full of the humbler people of his race, with some strange assortments of European garments, some with blankets over their strange assortment, some with blankets over the semi-nudity of their primitive dress, some with, although these were all women, men travelled no longer in primitive dress. The day was warm, and the smell strong in the carriage, but Kumalo was a humble man and did not much care. They saw his clerical collar and moved up to make room for the umfundisi. He looked around, hoping there might be someone with whom he could talk, but there was no one who appeared of that class. He turned to the window to say farewell to his friend. "Why did Subeku not come to me himself?" he asked, shouting out the window. "He was afraid, Umfundisi. He is not of our church." "Is he not of our people?" the Zulus. "Can a man in trouble go only to those of his church?" "I shall tell him, Umfundisi." Kumalo's voice rose a little, as does the voice of a child, or indeed of a grown person who wants others to hear. "Tell him that when I am in Johannesburg, I shall go to this place at Springs." He tapped the pocket where the paper was safe in his wallet. "Tell him I will make inquiries about the girl, but tell him I shall be busy. I have many things to do in Johannesburg." He turned away from the window. "It is always so," he said, as if to himself, but in truth to the people around him. "I thank you for him, Mfundisi." The train whistled and jerked. Kumalo was thrown nearly off his feet. It would be safer, more dignified, to take his seat. "Stay well, my friend." "Go well, Mfundisi." He went to his seat. People looked at him with interest and respect, at the man who went so often to Johannesburg. The train gathered way to creep along the ridges of the hills, to hang over steep valleys, to pass the bracken and the flowers, to enter the darkness of the wattle plantations, past Stanton, down into Ikobo. The journey had begun. And now the fear back again, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the great city where boys were killed crossing streets, the fear of Gertrude's sickness, his sister. Deep down, the fear for his son. Deep down, the fear of a man who lives in a world not made for him, whose own world is slipping away, dying, being destroyed beyond any recall. Already the knees are weak of the man who a moment since had shown his little vanity, told his little lie before these respectable people. The humble man reached into his pocket for his sacred book. began to read. It was this world alone that was certain.